What's up, guys? Today we're building the Dortheavej residence in Copenhagen by Bjarke Ingels Group with Rhino and Grasshopper. Let's get started. Okay, so for a little bit of context, the Dortheavej residence in Copenhagen was built by Bjarke Ingels Group, and it consists of interconnected containers covered with a wood texture, and they're displayed in a way that makes a very interesting dynamic facade. Okay, so this code is relatively simple. It depends mostly on random elements. So starting off with this curve here, as you can see, if I pick up on its points and I move them, the code will change accordingly. Like so. Beyond this curve, we also have our container elements here. So the main entrance, the window block, the balcony block, and of course also the balcony block with the stair area, which usually would be closed. So let's start off with our Rhino elements. I'm going to go into top view. So the first thing we want to draw is our curve where the building will follow. I'm going to get myself a curve here, and I'm going to build this one with 5 points. So I'm going to start at about here, go 1, go 2, go 3, go 4, and then go 5. Enter. And now we can pick up these points and adjust them slightly. I'm going to push our main point, our main constraint point back here, like that. You want to keep it in line with the street for this to make sense in this complex Danish urban layout. Yeah, so we set up the curve like that. If you can't see it here, so just go under your surface, select it, and then you can bring it all the way up like this, like that. Yeah. And then if the height is no good, you can simply adjust it later. I'm going to go here to the side, and I'm going to do this by picking up a box, and even though I do not have the proper values of the actual buildings, we can build this with our very own approximations. So I'm going to set this up here, and I'm going to go 5.3 for the first measurement, and then click enter. You can see you can still move on your width. So for this one, I'm going to go for 9.6, and now for the height, I'm going to go for 4.7, like that. Okay, and now I'm going to rotate this like so. I'm going to make a few copies. So let's get one over here, and now I'm going to copy this one 2 more times, like so. Okay, so the first one we're going to build is our passage container, and to do this you want to draw yourself a line on this face, then CL4 close. You want to select your line and then place offset, and the usual thickness of these containers is around 60 centimeters, so I'm going to go for 0.6, then simply click enter. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay, you need to click the face to make it work. Now we can actually leave these as they are, and then we can select this inner curve here. Let's select its lower points, and I'm going to bring this down on the Z element by -0.6. Okay, now we select it again. I'm going to go to the side here, and we can use our extrude curve command, bring it all the way back there. Now we can delete this one and also this one here. And now we can apply a Boolean difference. So let's select our outer shape, click once, and then our inner shape. Oh, hold on. The Boolean seems to have failed. If the Boolean fails, one way to make this work is simply to use scale 1D. I'm gonna select from top to bottom and then simply slightly bring it down a bit. Oh yeah, it turns out the error was the lack of a cap, so this extrusion remained open. So to close it, you just need to place in CAP, and then it will be closed into a proper brep. In that case, I'm going to add a scale 1D again, select the inner brep, and then push it back to its original position like so. And now we can do our Boolean difference like that. And that's how you set up our first container, the entrance one. For our signature container, we're going to use this block here, and we're going to start off with a line covering, or in this case going around this face here, CL to close. And then let's make an offset. So I'm gonna go for 0.6 like that. And now we want to copy this one here, and let's bring it inside to about 0.45 like that. Okay, let's just go around our geometry here. Now we need to go inside of it. Oh. Okay, now let's make an offset of about 0.10 like that. Let's pick our new one up and let's move it minus 0.1. We want to make this side slightly larger. These are just small details that you can always place in later if you want to. I just want to get them out of the way right now. So 0.1 here, like that. And now we want to select our line again, and let's mirror it to the other side of our block. So mirror, then like that. Okay. On this side, let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here let's make an offset of about 1.5 like that. Okay. Now let's copy this one also along this line to 0.45, which should be the same distance as the other one here. Let's check them out to see if they are on the same plane. Okay, looking good. I'm going to switch this to wireframe view. Might be a little bit easier. Okay, now we need to make a loft out of this, so let's go for loft, and then we need to place this in this very specific order here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. But we want to place it pointing in this direction here, so flip, flip again. Let's see if it works like this now. Okay, this area here is a lot cleaner now, so this should work out. Let's make a cap like that. Now we can go for Boolean like that. Let's go into shaded view. Okay, nicely done. Works out nicely. Okay, now we need to make the windows, and to do this, we can now repurpose this line here. So let's pick up on these points, let's move them to the center, and then move them again to this quarter area here, like that. Now let's make a copy of this. So 1, 2, 3, like so. Let's select all of these, and let's make a scale 1D from the top down to the bottom here. Now we can remove this one here, and we can pick up on these points to bring them down here so that we can match the pattern we're looking for. Let's copy this one to the side here, and now with a scale 1D or picking up the lower points, you can simply push it down like that. Let's make an offset here, and we want this value to be of 0.05 for our window frames. The same thing here, and the same thing here, like that. Now let's go all the way up here. Let's select all of these lines. Make sure you're not selecting any other unnecessary lines beyond these frames. Let's make an extrusion. Let's go for 0.05. Let's delete our previous curves, and now we can make a few caps here. So let's select all of these. Let's cap them, nice and easy. Now let's make a Boolean difference on all of these. So let's select all of our outer frames, and now let's remove these interiors, like that. Let's select this surface and this surface again, and let's make a simple copy to the other side. Nice, looking really nice. On the back though, the lines are far simpler, so we can actually repurpose this one here. Let's pick up on these points, let's bring them over here. Now let's make an offset, like that. Let's select them both and go for an extrusion. Once again, 0.05. Let's delete those lines. Let's make new caps here. And now let's go for Boolean difference and go for 1, 2. Like that. Then all I have to do is copy this one to the side, and that should about do it. Okay, and that's how you set up our signature container, the window variant. Now for our balcony container. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to draw a line here all the way to the other side, but I just want to give it a measurement of about 1.2, which will be our balcony's width, like that. Enter. Okay, it's there. Now we just need to click our main brep here and go for scale 1D. Let's bring it all the way up to the front and simply back it off until we reach our balcony dimension here. And of course you can make this measurement whatever you like. I'm just going to keep this one here for simplicity's sake. Okay, the next thing we want to do is to draw a new line that covers this face here. Same process as before, and in this one I'm gonna go for offset 0.1, like that. Now I'm going to make an extrude curve on this one all the way to the back, like that. Okay, we can delete this curve now. Now we need to select the inner extrusion and go for a cap, like so. And now we simply repeat our Boolean process as we did before to get a nice, clean, and open room here. Okay, as for the balcony, we're going to draw ourselves a new polyline like this. I'm going to bring it all the way out here, and then bring it back to where we started, and then see all close. And here I will now proceed to extrude this to the front, like so. Okay, now we can delete this curve. We can cap this. Okay, it's always important when building this model to make sure that different faces touch. This will be very important to get these all together in the next few minutes. Okay, so now we need a guardrail, and to do this, I'm going to first off draw a circle. This one will be 0.1. Actually, I might go for something smaller, so 0.05, like that. The next thing we want to do is that we want to rotate it on its x-axis, and with shift you can get a nice 90-degree angle. Let's bring it up at about 0.9, and now we can make an extrusion all the way to the other side, like that. Let's cap these, nice and easy. Now we can make a copy of it. I'm gonna bring it down here. I will now rotate this. Actually, I want to rotate this in 3D. So rotate 3D. Let's draw our axis on this line here. Let's pick up the top of our base circle, and now with the shift key we can place this on a 90-degree angle. Let's make a scale 1D. I'm gonna pick up on this point here, bring it all the way up to the top like so, and now let's bring it all the way down at about half, as you can see here. And now we can actually scale this. We can scale this at about 0.5 because we want this to be thinner. Oh, sorry, on the y y axis and the x axis, like that. Now we can simply push it into here and into there, like that. I'm going to bring it in at about 1 meter. Sounds fair. I'm going to make a mirror of it like this. Okay, and also going to bring one into the center because, you know, we always need one in the center for better support. Okay, nice. So the only thing we need to place in now are the window frames. And to make these, we're going to have to make a new inner curve, which I believe here we no longer have ours, so we have to build a new one. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, then close. Okay. And in this case, we want to bring all of our points to the center again at the midpoint, and then move them again into the other midpoint. Now let's make a mirror of this. So, like, you can actually bring it in like that. Okay, nice. Next up, let's make a copy of this one. Let's select our center points here, and now we can bring it to the side here, like that. Okay. Now we can make a new curve here in the center. We can click Divide Curve, or simply divide, and I'm going to bring it down to about 4 segments, which is what we need in this case. Actually, no, I'm going to bring it down to about 3. Okay, cool. So now we can get rid of this one here, and we can select all of these here, and we can scale 1D from the bottom to the top, and then bring it down until it matches the points like so. Okay, now we can make a copy of this. Let's bring it all the way up here. Let's scale 1D. Actually, let's select all of these, copy them, and now yes, once these are selected, then we can apply scale 1D and bring them down like that. Actually gonna do the same thing here, but on the side. We can now get rid of this one here, which actually these two here, which we will no longer be needing. And of course make a copy. And now as you can imagine, the same process is to be repeated here as in the last ones. So we want an offset of about 0.5. So go 1, select this one and do the same thing. Same thing for the doors here. And then just keep doing it until you've got yourself all of them. Like that. Now from the top, once again, we can select all of these. We can deselect this one here, which we will not be needing, and then simply go for extrude curve. Same measurements, so 0.5, like that. Okay, we can now delete our curves. We can select everything again, and we can apply caps, like that. Now Boolean differences. So let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now to subtract, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as well. It seems one of the curves did not work. In this case, let's do them again, simply one by one. So this one worked easily. Let's select this one here. Do it again. Same thing here. Okay. The always go for the outer ones in this case. Go for the outer ones like so. Now this one here might be the one that's failing. Okay, weird. Well, in the end it seemed to have worked out fine. Okay, now for the back part, we want to reuse all of these here around our windows. Let's make a copy and click on the very back. So we want this part here. Let's bring it all the way to the back, like that. Let's select them all. And now we can make a mirror here. So let's go to the midpoint of our back frame. And alright, it only works vertically. Well, okay then, so we just need to go to our y-axis. I'm gonna place in 180 degrees. Okay, good. And now to fix this part here, all we need to do is pick up on our points. Let's bring it all the way out here, like that. And then we can offset this again. Okay, looking cool. Now we can select these again. Let's go for an extrude, same process as always. Whenever this happens, you want to go into direction and then go from here to here to make sure that they match the direction you want. Cap them, then Boolean, like that. Okay, and that's essentially how you set up the balcony container variant. And for our last Rhino element, to make this very quick, we really don't need this prep here. All we need to do is copy this one and push and place it on the side like this, and simply remove these windows back here. Since the stair container, which is the model we're building now, has the back part completely shut. So we just need to build up a new curve here. I'm gonna close it, and now just to make this a bit more professional, I'm going to make another extrusion and go for 0.1 like that. I can delete this now, and then once it's capped, it's ready to go, just like that. Okay, and this is how we set up our basic Rhino elements. Let's move on to Grasshopper. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to assign our curve. We start off with a curve component. We set one curve, and then we set our curve here on our street. Next up, we need to get ourselves an array, linear array to be more specific. Let's connect it there. Of course, however, we need to place it on our z-axis since we need this to build up our floors. I will be using a measurement from our containers here. In this case, their height. So I'm going to go for a _4.7, connected there, and now we have our proper height. However, we do need to change our floors, and in this case, the building has specifically five floors, so we're going to place in our value at 5. Of course, you can change this later if you feel that that's best. So let's place it there. Next up, let's add in a divide curve. Let's place it in there to get our divisions. Now, as I count correctly, this building has 31 different blocks per row, so I'm going to put in a _31. Once again, you can change this value later. You just need to keep in mind several values that I'm going to be showing up next. I'm going to bring this here. Okay, and now we need to make we need to get ourselves an SDL line because we want to have lines firing off from these points. So I'm going to go into here, and now we need to change the direction. And to do this, I'm going to use these tangents here, like that. However, as you can see, they are following the line, and we want to place them perpendicular to said line. So to change this, I'm going to get myself a rotation, or in this case a rotate. Let's place our tangents in there and then into our direction, and voila, we now have them pointing outwards. And regarding the length, we had a length of about here of about, let me check again, we had of about 9.6, so that is the value I will be placing here. However, you can expand this however you want, so I'm going to place this at 9.6 like that. Okay, and this is our very first group. I'm going to name these base lines like that. So for our container groups, we want to set up first off a ruled surface. However, as you can see here, they're not generating said surfaces, so we need to add in a shift list so that we can get at least a shifted list to make our surfaces work like that. However, we don't need these middle ones. They will just mess up our code. So to get rid of them, we just need to add in a col index like this. Let's place our surface values in here, and now let's place in --1 to get rid of those ones. So now if I hide all of these, and also these, which we will not be needing now, like that, you can see we now have our surfaces here. Okay, let's flatten these down, and now we need to separate them in order to allow our building to have this interlocking checker-like pattern. So we add in a dispatch component Let's join it in there. Okay. In order to make the proper distinction here, we need to add in a special text here. So we need to place in true, and then we need to open up the file again, press enter, and then write in false. This will create our checkers pattern like that. However, you can see that this will generate an error. So to change this, all you need to do is right-click on this panel here, and tick off multi-line data. Okay. Now we can group this up. I'm going to call this container basis. Container basis. And just to see what the result is like, I'm going to go and type in surface. And as you can see here, we now have our checkers pattern in both outputs. For the next group, we now need to set up the proper dimensions for each kind of variant. And to do this, we're going to start with the top one and place in an explode component here. Going to place this value in there. And now going to place in a dispatch once more. Let's also graph this to make it properly done. We now have the values we need here, and now we can make an offset curve. I'm gonna use our B values, which will specifically select our longitudinal lines here, the longest ones on our rectangles. As for the distance, I'm gonna give it a negative value first, and according to the wall's thickness, I'm gonna place in about 0.3. Place it in there. Okay, looking nice. Next up, we need to make yet a second dispatch. Same thing again. For this to dispatch properly, you want to flatten them down. And now let's add in a ruled surface. And let's also add in a flip curve. However, before I connect this in, I'm just going to give you an example of what I mean with it. As you can see here, since they have opposite directions, they will tend to wrap themselves up on top of each other, and you can change this by placing your flipped curve like this, therefore giving a proper planar surface. So we can now close this into a group. I'm going to call these the window variants. The window variants, like that. We can now hide this. Actually, we can hide all of these. Not going to be that useful now. And now we copy this entire code, paste it down. We can now connect this value directly into our distance value, and we can get rid of this negative value. Oh, and of course we need to change this value from A to B, like that, therefore giving ourselves the proper dimensions for each kind of variant. Now let's change this name to balcony variant, like that. Filter out some of these planes so that we can gain space to add in our stair variants, and also remove some of these planes here to make the building stair effect. we're going to start off at the window variance. So let's place in a col index. Let's connect it in there. We can now hide this one here. And as for the indices value, I'm gonna make in a panel. And after some research, the best combination I got was 9, 31, 47, 62, and 63, like that. Then we can add it in. Don't forget to untick multi-line data. Okay. As you can see here, we've managed to remove this central piece here, and also many of the pieces that block us from making the stair effect. Of course, we want to repurpose this for our entrance variant. So all we need to do is add in list item, and now we can add in double-9, since this is the plane that we want to isolate completely. Okay, so now let's group this up. I'm gonna name this one window filters, like that. Down here we're going to use the same process, except with different values. In reality, this is something that we need to check in manually and see which ones fit and which ones don't. So let's scatter in a col index. Let's put this one out like that. And now let's add in a double dash panel. And for the values, the ones I figured that work here are the 8th, 9th, then we have 15, 31, 46, 47, 62, and 63, like that. Multi-line data. Now, as you can see here, we now have the available and visible planes to make our stair effect. Therefore, removing these ones here. Now we also want to remove, or in this case, we want to isolate several faces here to add in our stair container variant. And to do that, we just need to add in a list item in the same fashion. And now we want to add in double dash. In this case, the values we need here are 17. Let's click that one again. So 17, 19, 21, 20, 23. Since these values are already separated into odd numbers, you always need to jump a number when you're doing this. So 25, 27, 29, and then as we move on to the next floors, we need to change these from odd numbers to even numbers. So from 29 we go to 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, and 60, like that. Okay. Multi-line data, add it in there. And now you can see here we have the shapes we need to place in our stair variants. Of course, we also want to take these values off of this list, so we just need to connect it in there with our shift key. And now we have the proper isolated items, like so. Let's clean this up a little bit here. make this one also into a group. I'm gonna call this one balcony filters. Like that. You can also clean this up a little bit. It's a bit badly positioned. Yeah, like that. Okay, now for the final part, we will finally bring our Rhino elements onto our surfaces. I'm gonna start off with the entrance on this surface here, and to do that, we're gonna get ourselves a surface box, and we're going to add in our item into our surface input and into our domain input. Let's bring it over here. I'm going to add in a brep so that we can assign our entrance or passage surface. In this case, brep. This one like that. Okay. And now I'm going to use a bounding box. I'm gonna connect it into there. And I'm gonna also bring in a box morph. Let's add in this value into there, this one into here, and then our twisted box into our target. Actually gonna bring these two up here. As you can see now though, the height isn't the proper one, and to get this right we need to place in a box deconstruct box, so that we can get the real Z value out of our brep. Boom, like that. We now have our passage variant placed on our building. So let's put this one apart here, and let's clean this up and prepare to group them. So I'm going to make this into a group. I'm going to call this passage block. Okay, I'm going to stretch this one out here, bring it down, and now let's copy the entire group into here, and let's change this one into set multiple breps, and this time we will use our window variant. Okay. Now here we're dealing with at least 9 reference breps, and we need to combine them into a single one. So let's add in a solid union, and let's copy these values into this one here. And while these are off, we want to change our list here into our surface input and into our domain input. Now let's place this one into here. Okay, we're starting to see something close to a final result. Nicely placed. Now we can hide these. We can also hide all of these as well. We only need the final elements here, the ones to the very far right. Let's group this up. I'm going to name this one a window block. Okay. Now I'm going to select this entire group. I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to bring it all the way down into here. And I'm going to disconnect these values here so that the code does not crash with all these variants. I'm going to change it to this one and to this one. Now, of course, we don't want these filling up our surfaces, so I'm gonna change this set multiple breps. from our window variant into our balcony variant. And of course, make sure you're selecting the one that has the windows on the back. Okay. Okay, the window variants are now properly positioned, like so. We can now also hide this one. And of course, let's copy this code one more time down to here. I'm going to disconnect this so that it doesn't break the code down. I'm going to change the set multiple breps into our final variant here, the one with no windows on the back, which are our final example. Okay, let's change this item here to our surface input and to our domain input. Place this one into here. Okay. And that's essentially how you set these up. Now to finish off, let's add in some color here. So let's get ourselves a preview, custom preview here. Okay. Let's add in our window geometry here and also our entrance into there as well. And let's change this color. Let's add in a swatch, color swatch here. And let's change this value. I usually place the hue at around 50. Oops. Right there. Let's copy and paste this code here. Let's also hide these. We're not going to be needing them anymore. Bring them down here. Then let's go 1, 2, like that. And let's change this value to 25. And if you wanted to pop a little bit more, usually I will add in a brep wireframe, just so we can see the lines a little bit. So go in 1, 2, and up here, oops, 3 and 4. Okay, let's group these guys up, nice and easy. Bring them out there. Same with these, so let's put them there like that. Yeah, and that's essentially how you set up a code to make the Dortheavej residence. Like that. Okay. A code which you can easily adjust simply by bringing this curve, or at least moving it around a bit. I'm going to bring it over here, just for example. Like that. Okay guys, hope you've liked this tutorial. Do not forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me keep these videos going. Share them with friends who need them, or even with your colleagues who need to get their works quickly done. Beyond that, have a good evening, and cheers.